pass, man. It's fine. It's not going to get an Academy Award or anything. Well, because of the acting, not because of the filming. Oh, yeah. The name itself, it is an interesting story. It's a fun one. My grandfather was one of the, was a duck farmer, one of the larger farms on Long Island. So we come from a family of duck farmers. Unfortunately, in the 80s, they had to close up shop because duck farming is pretty detrimental to the environment. So when I started barbecue, I wanted to do something a little different. And I started doing whole ducks and duck legs and Peking duck on the smoker. I didn't have the name yet, but I kind of got the name from being like almost like a black sheep, or like black sheep of barbecue, or like black duck of barbecue. I caught the barbecue bug when I went to Texas. I went to Austin and I had barbecue. I actually don't even remember. I wasn't that into it back then, so I don't even remember where I went. I might have gone to like Terry Black's or something, but I was just floored. And I was like actually angry that we didn't have anything like that I had like that on Long Island at least. We have barbecue spots, but we don't have Central Texas style barbecue spots. Not many of them. They're growing now, which is awesome. And you know, a lot of us are buddies, and but that's how I got into it. I had it, I forget what year it was, but I came back and I basically like pulled the trigger on an expensive pellet grill and pulled the trigger on that, cooked on that for like 2 years, and just perfected brisket as best I could, perfected pulled pork as best I could, and added some other things to the menu. And started having friends in the backyard, and then the friends started telling me that I should start charging people for it. And then we started charging people for barbecue in the backyard. And then I kind of knew I had something when it was winter. It was about 20 degrees outside, there was a snowstorm, and I had a line of like 50 people down my block waiting to get into my yard for barbecue. So it took off from there, and you know, that's what got us here today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is my favorite part right here. Double R Ranch Prime from Prime Food Distributors in Port Washington. I have been using them for like 3 years. I've tried other stuff, and I have never found a better product than this for brisket. I think the flagship is the brisket. The brisket really is what everybody talks about after they have it. My brother's a big influence. He taught me a lot of what I know. He taught me how to cook. He's bailed me out a ton of times. I used to call him on the daily, asking him about recipes and things like that. Barbecue I did all on my own for the most part, though. You know, we have collaborated on dishes before, but he's a big influence in my life as far as cooking is concerned. Any of us that are doing pop-ups, especially barbecue, is really just not having a home base. Like, you have nowhere to store all your stuff, you have nowhere to prep all of your stuff until you find a pop-up space like this, what we're doing today at Off the Block. Luckily, I'm able to order food to this establishment. I'm able to come in when they're not busy, which, you know, if it's a Friday night and I'm taking up space in their kitchen, that's a problem. So I have to work my schedule around that, prep when they're not prepping. Everybody's usually pretty accommodating when they have a pop-up at their spot, though. But really, the biggest obstacle is, as someone that does this, you don't have a staff that's on at all times because you don't have the business to give them, and you can't pay them at all times. So, you know, I have buddies of mine that help out. Thankfully, you know, they come on when they can. We get bread delivered by Uber drivers. So, yeah. But yeah, really the biggest obstacle for pop-ups is not having a home base, and it makes it difficult. It's a big task, especially after you just cooked for 24 hours, to show up to a place that you're not familiar with. The staff isn't familiar with you. Some of these people I've just met for the first time ever. It's crazy. But I'm running a 500-gallon offset smoker from Primitive Pits down in Coal Mountain, Georgia. It was custom built for me. It took about a year to get. Before that, I was running a pellet smoker, a Rectech, but we've been able to increase production beyond belief with the 500-gallon. And it's more authentic. I'm burning real sticks. I'm burning real wood. Lucky enough to have a very, very secure job, which is fun to talk about too. I'm an equipment operator for the local town here. So I run a payloader, 7 to 3:30 Monday through Friday, but it's secure and it's awesome. And pulling the trigger on barbecue has been in the back of my mind for probably 2 years now. I've looked at brick and mortars, I've looked at spots, I've come really close to actually pulling the trigger on a couple things. And it's a really hard leap to take when you have something so secure, especially when you have kids and a wife and a mortgage and you live on Long Island and you have bills to pay. But it's growing, and I think we might be able to do something in the future. We'll see. I'm gonna keep working at it. We'll see.
There it is. I gotta let the container do the work.
It's a flick of the wrist. Is that your phone?
Yeah.